Hello, friends. Welcome and namaste. Crystal Joy of CJoyYoga. Welcome, welcome. So today we are using quite a bit of props. So if you don't have them, you could just do a child's pose with the bolster set up and a blanket, between your heels and your buttocks, whatever you end up with, right? And you could do that with us. But if we can, we're going to try to mimic the Iyengar rope wall. So I happen to have a big old sturdy pole here in the studio that I can tie my strap off to. I have two of them together, so I have a little bit of extra length, right? And that allows me to pull against that wall, right? And get a little bit of tension that I can move away from, and it kind of pulls me back. So we're going to do it in child's pose, but I just want to show you the idea behind it. So if you don't have a pole at your house, most people don't, maybe you have a really heavy kitchen table and you have one of the legs of that you can tie off to. Or maybe you have a door with a low handle that comes out to you and you can take the strap over each of the handles, right? Like we've done for downward dog in the past. And then you would have that same setup where you have tension. If you're using something that's not structural, please so slow when you move into the pose so that you don't find out the hard way by pulling something over onto you or whatever, that it's not going to work, right? I want that strap to be a little higher than my hips in an ideal world, right? I have my bolster or my bolster setup. If you need a couple of blankets folded the long way to make that bolster setup, you could do that as well, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have that strap on the pole, the table, the whatever that is, my knees wide. And I'm going to just start to kind of scoot forward with my knees, one little stair step at a time here, until I end up with a little bit of tension right at the crease of the hips that I always talk about, by the head of the femur, right? And then before you come all the way down, two things to address. One, if your hips can't get all the way down to your heels, it's not a bad thing. That's okay. But I'm going to suggest that you build that up and you put something in between the hips and the heels so the hips are grounded today. A couple of blankets, a couch pillow, be creative. And then I'm going to take mine out because I do happen to get my hips down, right? And then I've got that tautness on the strap. My knees are in a good position, it seems. I'm going to reach my hands forward, and before I settle all the way in, my fingers are going to come down to the ground, and I'm going to traction. You know that traction action? I'm stuck on a sticky mat, but I energetically pull back. And as I pull my fingers back, my forearms a little into the bolster, I'm going to feel my chest reaching forward and my spine lengthening a little bit, right? So try to keep some of that even as you start to soften down. Forehead onto bolster. You need more underneath your elbows and your forehead. Put another blanket or pillow under there, right? And I'm going to encourage you not to do nothing underneath. If you can find a pillow or a bolster setup, please use it today. I can get my forehead to the ground and my arms, but that's not the point of this today, right? We're just going to go ahead and hover a little bit, the spine maybe a little longer, that tautness, that rope pulling me gently back as I lengthen forward away from that resistance. Now your forehead is grounded. So my hope is those muscles are already soft, but check in. Eyebrows, forehead, eyes, tongue, jaw. Soften the neck. You're on that bolster, so the neck does not need to hold on to the head. Shoulders, arms through hands and fingers. Chest and upper back. Mid torso, belly and low back. Hips really soften everywhere through that lowest part of the pelvis over to the hip joints themselves, softening all the muscles around the hips from the inside out. through the legs to the feet and the toes. Let's try to stay here for about 4 more breaths, bringing the awareness into the breath. And just work with that beautiful soft belly breath. The belly's between the thighs right now. So hopefully we can bring that full capacity of oxygen into the lungs, of air, I should say, not just oxygen, air into the lungs. If after time it feels like you're squishing your nose or something like that, you might be releasing down a little bit. You could move the bolster a little forward. You might do that same setup of pulling the forearms and the fingers back and reaching the chest forward. I just got a couple of cracks in my spine and settling back down and in. Almost there. Now, if you're loving this, stay here, right? Give yourself that grace, that time. If you're coming up, we're going to slide our hands under our shoulders-ish and gently push the floor away to come up. Now be aware of the strap around your hips, right? If you're using one, and really gently maybe walk the knees back a little bit. I'm going to come out of that strap while still on my hands and my knees. Feel free to sit your tush, your buttocks on the bolster. If you need a different position, you take it and take care of yourself. And just for a couple of moments, notice, right? I've gotten into the habit of trying to do, I used to call it spontaneous shavasana, and now it's just any restorative pose. And I try to do it during the day, not just at night before I'm going to bed like I used to, right? And just noticing it's almost for me like setting a reset button. My stress reduces, my body relaxes a little bit, and I feel much more productive as I go back into my day. What is your experience? It doesn't have to be mine, right? Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale. And as you exhale, bowing the head, uh, noticing, being grateful. You gave yourself the space and time, right? Inhale, lift the chin. And let's finish with an Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. May you be well, friends. May everybody everywhere be well. No exceptions.